Council Speaker Corey Johnson speaking with us about a half hour ago about the.
Good evening, folks. We are here live from our studios in Brooklyn. Finally, after a pretty much nightmare on this Saturday night, and as you see, we have the power outage map from Con Ed that is pretty much saying that 45,261 customers are without power. And this is basically all the coverage of Con Ed. That includes the 5 boroughs, except Southeast Queens and parts of Westchester County. So let's zoom in into Manhattan. And as you guys see, we have around 10,305 customers without power in the area of Times Square. We have 1,847 customers without power in the area of Rockefeller Center. We have 17,299 customers without power in the area of, let's say, Columbus Circle. And we have 15,276 in the area of Lincoln Center.
Caused this large outage. I understand that things are fluid right now and you're still trying to establish the cause. However, we were told that it was described as a major disturbance, possibly at a substation on West 49th Street. Is it accurate to call that a major disturbance, whatever that means?
Well, information gets released, from different organizations, and I'm not sure where you're getting your information from.
And we are looking at right now at the MTA's website. And basically, pretty much every single line is impacted by this, except the G and the J. Even the 42nd Street shuttle is impacted by all this. At least the LIRR is running fine, except plan work on the Port Jefferson branch. On Metro North, we have delays on the Hudson line. That they're experiencing delays up to 15 minutes due to a single tracking as a result of track work near Spuyten Duyvil. And of course, the planned service change on the Pascagoula Valley line and on the Port Jervis line. So our recommendation is to take a bus if you can, or taking any commuter rail if possible. Okay, we just received a tweet from the MTA that it said the Con Ed power outage is affecting the signals on the 6th Avenue line and 8th Avenue lines. And the 4 stations that are without power and closed are the following: 59th Street, Columbus Circle; 47 50th Street, Rockefeller Center; 34th Street, Hudson Yards; and 5th Avenue, 53rd Street. And the MTA is saying that there is very limited service on the 1, 2, and 3 on the west side, the 4, 5, and 6 on the east side, and the 7 between Manhattan and Queens. If you're commuting within Manhattan, the bus is your best choice. And also because of this suspension, the 1, 2, and 3, in other words, the 2 and the 3 are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street in both directions and not stopping at 59th Street, Columbus Circle. We found A is not running between J Street, Metro Tech, and Manhattan. The R train also is not running between Brooklyn and Manhattan. So basically, every single line is affected by this. And this is a video from 1010 Wins reporter Juliet Papa, live from 59th Street, Columbus Circle. And transit reporter David Rowley interviewed New York One interview Assemblyman Mike Blake. He said he was stuck on the ground on the subway for 45 minutes. And our fellow contributor Matt Camper is also live on YouTube. And Fox 5's Lisa Evers posted tens of thousands of power in Midtown and Upper West Side. Manhole cover fire near West 64th Street responsible, according to city officials. Make sure to keep your phone charged. And at the same time, we are.
They were stuck on a train for 2 hours. And apparently, emergency crews were able to corral everybody into one car and then eventually get them out. Now, it's not clear whether they were able to move the train or these people had to walk along tracks or what. But they all got out. He said 2 hours stuck in a train in a tunnel before they were able to get out. Right now, this subway station remains in the dark. Emergency crews are by the steps, and you'll see a flashlight flicker occasionally. But NYPD is here, and they have barricaded off this entrance. So it doesn't appear that anybody's coming out of here anytime soon. And, of course, they're not letting anybody in. Right now, the vendors here are doing a brisk business because people are out and about. They're all outside. Everybody's hanging out because it is a warm summer night. There are many, many police cars in front of the Time Warner Center, obviously for security reasons. There are some lights on in the Time Warner Center, and those are no doubt generator operated. Similarly, the Plaza Hotel, I was down into Midtown 5th Avenue area about an hour or so ago. Their lights were on, but they told me they were on an emergency generator. And I'm also told that there are garages, parking garages, where they're not going to be able to get the cars up because their elevators aren't operating. I just got off the phone with the fire department, and they said right now they're doing a lot of elevator rescue, but so far there has been nothing serious, no serious injuries. They don't seem to be transporting anybody to the hospital. So that is ongoing at this time. The NYPD on patrol. In fact, civilians are even helping out. One gentleman had a whistle in his mouth, and he was directing traffic at the intersection at 7th Avenue and 58th Street.
a busy intersection there. 7th Avenue is a very wide street there, and a lot of cars come off Central Park South and turn up, including buses and taxis from the hotels. And he was directing traffic to let people through and let pedestrians cross, and to let cars just get through without jamming up the intersection and without hitting each other and getting into trouble. So hats off to that gentleman who was lending a hand. But I see people here being very calm. A lot of people are outside. I guess can't be in the buildings because it's either too hot or it's too dark. It is dark out now, and people are enjoying a summer night. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins, reporting live from Columbus Circle.
All right, Juliet, and let's go back to the phones now and speak to correspondent Trevor Alt, who is also.
All right, we just heard 1010. Pardon me. We just heard 1010 Wins on Juliet Papa, reporting live from 59th Street, Columbus Circle, and we have wonderful news to report from the OIRR. And that is that there are accommodating subway customers with no, in other words, they're cross-honoring subway customers at Flushing Main Street, Willis Point, Woodside, Penn Station, Jamaica, Kew Gardens, and Forest Hills. And of course, we want to thank Long Island Railroad President Philip Ng to, in other words, letting LIRR cross honor the subway. Well, we have in Amtrak, we have Empire Service Train 283 is operating about 30 minutes late due to a rail congestion near Poughkeepsie. But up to now, nothing yet from Warren Wilhelm Jr. or Andrew Mark Cuomo. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico right now is in a state of, let's say, chaos right now, but unfortunately, we won't address the issue of Puerto Rico at the moment because right now, the situation that's going on in New York, in other words, our city, is more important than attending that. This is a tweet from Esperanza Ceballos from Univision 41. And of course, we have Council Speaker Corey Johnson that he tweeted 8 minutes ago that Con Ed is continues to resolve the power outage in Manhattan. There is very limited service on the number lines. And on the letter lines as well. Let's do an update on the Con Ed map. Still, the map is showing 45,462 customers without power. All right, we just received an update from the MTA. And is that 1, 2, and 3 trains are running local. In other words, the 2 and the 3 are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street, bypassing Columbus Circle, and 4 and 5 trains are running local between 125th Street and Brooklyn Bridge City Hall. But we have an issue on the LIRR. That is that the 824 train from Long Beach due to Penn Station 921 is being delayed at Jamaica due to clearing track work ahead. And this is a video from WCBS News Radio 880's Peter Haskell that he is right now at 59th Street, Columbus, at Columbus Circle. Oops, we have an issue on New Jersey Transit. That is the Ransom Valley Line train 5541 that departs at 10:38 from Newark Penn Station is canceled tonight due to engineer availability. Customers are advised to take train 5543 that departs at 11:38 from Newark Penn. Now let's go to Google Maps. And right now, this is the traffic that we actually have in Manhattan. And we're gonna be simulcast doing a simulcast with 10 wins. So let's go back to Twitter to see if we have any updates. Oh, even my boyfriend was worried, but we were fortunate that we were able to get from Manhattan to Brooklyn. This was the scene earlier tonight at J Street Metrotech on the R train platform when we arrived from Manhattan. A lot of people wanting to go to and from Manhattan. And this is the moment that we took the R train from Whitehall Street. Oh, and we have another issue on the LIRR. And that is that the 7:39 train from Ronkonkoma due to Penn Station at 8:59, it's operating 35 minutes late from Jamaica due to clearing of track work ahead. And of course, the New York City Emergency Management provided an update that if you need to report loss, if you need to report a outage, you could do it at connet.com/report outage or calling 1-800-75-CONNECT. All right, apparently that number went up to 45,597 customers. Let's go by areas. We have this is the area of Times Square, Hell's Kitchen. We have around 10,412 customers. Zooming in, we have a situation at 34th Street. Why now? What is 40th Street? Let's say all this quadrant is without power right now. And the source here. Right here, this area. See, and we zoomed in. And even let's see if we could go to Mount Sinai's Twitter page.
Columbus, that entire kind of three-way intersection there, and that is becoming particularly dangerous, despite the fact that there's two members of the NYPD out directing traffic, and that's because you can't see anything without these lights on from any of these buildings. It is pitch black. I myself have almost been sideswiped by a few different bicyclists making their way through, especially because it is really crowded still into Midtown, Upper West Side, Manhattan on a Saturday night, and you've got all these people who typically would be inside because it is so warm who are just waiting it out, and so you're kind of having to maneuver through the crowds as well. And we've also pieced together sort of something that I had saw earlier today that I.
All right, we just got a notification from our fellow contributor, Cuomo Corruption. And the NYPD officer I see on the Times Square blackout this time. 8th Avenue is closed to vehicle traffic north of 42nd Street. And all Broadway theaters are closed except the Winter Garden Theater, Needleland Theater, and New Cement Theater. Thank you, Cuomo Corruption, for providing us with that information. It is right now 9:22, and we have New York Times transit reporter Emma Fitzsimmons. She posted less than a minute ago. Workers manually changed the signals to bring at least one car into stations allowing riders to get off. No customers were evacuated by a roadbed or bench walls. No customers came in contact with the tracks at any time. All customers were able to safely detrain. And we have 1010 wins, Brian Brenton informing what we mentioned before.
An abundance of caution. Don't try to get anywhere in a hurry because all of the near crashes that we're getting, you can hear a fire truck.
And
because a few different vehicles are trying to
at least
crowded intersection.
We have an update from Amtrak that is saying New York Penn Station is currently not being affected by power outage and trains are operating with minimum delays. And we have the 824 train from Long Beach due to Penn Station, and 921 is operating 14 minutes late due to an earlier track work. And someone is reminding us deja vu. 1977 blackout also happened on July 13th. Pure coincidence. And Council Speaker Corey Johnson, uh, he is suggesting to use flashlights rather than candles and gas lanterns to minimize the risk of fires. Check on friends or neighbors who are elderly, disabled, or have special needs. But where is Warren Wilhelm Jr.? Where is Andrew Mark Cuomo? Nowhere to be found. As of right now. So this is basically the area that is affected that goes from 40th Street between 5th and the West Side Highway, north to 72nd Street, east to Central Park West, south on Central Park West, Central Park South to 5th Avenue, and 5th Avenue all the way to 40th Street. So that's the quadrant that is affected right now by this power outage. And our fellow contributor Andy Quinto and this is the scene right at Dirty Rock where NBC4 is headquartered. So this is the update that 1010 Wins is saying Wild West on the west side as power outage plumage 43,000 on the in darkness. 30 block radius from the 40s to the 70s. Manhole fire to blame. 300 intersections in the dark. Residents directing traffic. Rescue in subways and elevators. And comes exactly 42 years after 77's a blackout. Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, nothing about this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're just focusing on the 889 pages of the Telegram report.
And out of that car, and they were close to the station, remained, that's the sort of explanation that I got. But right now, we do have emergency personnel here at the foot of that entrance, which is in the dark, and we have police that barricaded the entrance in the stairway. That stairway goes down into the subway station. Here on the surface, there are a lot of cars. We actually have a couple of traffic lights that are on right now here in Columbus Circle. That just happened just a short while ago. Traffic lights are working, but the street lights are not on. However, there are a lot of emergency service vehicles here and a lot of police vehicles in front of the Time Warner Center. Traffic is moving very slowly for obvious reasons. People are being very careful. We even have civilians that have been out and about on the street trying to direct traffic so that pedestrians can cross safely. There does not seem to be any alarm or panic in the streets here. There are a lot of street vendors out here because a lot of people are outside. It's a warm night. And if you're inside, you're in the dark. So I guess people are choosing to stay outside. They're getting a smoothie or they're getting ice cream and just going about their business. But they can't get into the subway. A gentleman just came up and asked me if the trains were running. And I said, no, take a bus or get a cab. But the trains are not running. Still not clear officially what happened. I've seen everything from electrical fire to a transformer fire, but I'm looking at high rises here that do not have lights on and some that do have emergency generators. Some hotels are working on emergency generators. Some parking garages, however, are stuck because the cars are below ground and their elevators are not working. The fire department told me a short while ago that they're still pulling people out of elevators, but they have no injuries and nobody seems to be transported at this point. So there's still an emergency operation going on in that regard. It would be interesting to see what happened down at Broadway. What happened to the shows that were going on or about to go on? I was headed to a movie theater, and obviously that wasn't happening, so they all gave us receipts for another day. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins reporting live at Columbus Circle.
Hey, Juliet, a question for you before you go. The people that you spoke to who were on that subway train that was stuck for 2 hours, that's kind of a New Yorker's worst nightmare. What were their spirits like after they came up from the subway station and spoke to you? It looks like we lost Juliet. We'll get back to her later. Again, 45,000 outages at last check.
Okay, we just got update from Notify NYC. So now we have delays on the A, C, D, E, F, M. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And as a reminder, the LIRR is cross-honoring between Penn Station, Woodside, Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, and Jamaica. And of course, Flushing Main Street and Men's Point. But if you need to get within Manhattan, your best choice is to take a bus. So let's go to the MTA's website. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, if you need service along 42nd Street, you could use the M42 bus. If you need service along 49th Street or 50th Street, you could use the M50 bus. If you need service to and from 57th Street, you could use the M57, the M31 buses, and the M12 if you need service between 11th and 12th Avenue. If you need service along 59th Street between 5th Avenue and 1st Avenue, you could take the Q32 and the M57. If you need service to the area of Lincoln Center, you could take the M66, the M57, and the M72 buses, or the M5, M7, and M104 buses, or the M20. If you're coming from Lower Manhattan to Midtown or the Upper West Side, and you're along 6th Avenue, you can take the M7 bus from 14th Street, 23rd Street, 34th Street, 42nd Street, 50th Street, Columbus Circle, Lincoln Center, and 72nd Street. If you're going from the east side towards the upper west side, towards the, let's say, 72nd Street area, you could take either the M72 or the M57 or the M5 bus. If you need service between 1st and 2nd Avenues, take the M15 local or select bus service. If you need service between 3rd Avenue and Lexington Avenue, you could take the M101, 102, or 103 buses. If you need service between Madison Avenue and 5th Avenue, you could take the M1, 2, 3, 4, or the M5 bus to 31st Street, or the M55 south of 44th Street. If you need service along 7th Avenue, take the M20 bus. If you need service along 3rd Avenue and Bowery, take the M103 bus. If you need service along 14th Street, take the M14D or A Salad bus service. If you need service along 10th and 9th Avenue, take the M11 bus. If you need service along 34th Street, take the M34 and M34A Salad bus service. Oop, we have a response from Andrew Mark Cuomo. Let's see if we could get okay, this is from uh NBC4's own Andrew Seth. Governor Cuomo orders Department of Public Service to investigate the blackout. Well, fortunately, no injuries occurred as a result of the incident. The fact is, it happened at all is unacceptable. While we have an update from Notify NYC that says due to a power outage, all lanes of West 42nd Street to 71st Street between Fifth Avenue and the Hudson River are closed to traffic. So finally, we have a response from the governor himself. But no response from Warren Wilhelm Jr. And of course, I want to thank my fellow contributor, Chromo Corruption, for giving.
Wins News Time 9. Top story this evening here on 1010 Wins is, of course, the big power outage that has left neighborhoods Midtown and the Upper West in the dark.
Giving us that update.
New Yorkers streaming out streets. Your home apartments where the AC is not working, but traffic happy with traffic lights. Problems tonight, but people trying to make the best of it. Let's go to the 1010 Wins reporter Juliet Papa, who's at Columbus Circle, where she's speaking to people who are trying to make the best of things. Juliet.
Well, I have a story here tonight, and thank you to my colleague.
All right, now we have on the MTA's website, we have the the 2 and 3 are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street and bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle. We have the 4 and the 5 running local between 125th Street and Brooklyn Bridge City Hall. And as a reminder, 6 trains are extended into Bowling Green this weekend. And still, every single subway line is affected by this, except the G and the J. So, if you're near Court Square, take the G. If you're going to Brooklyn, or if you're in Lower Manhattan and going to Brooklyn or to the area of Jamaica, take the J. So let's return to Twitter. We have 10-10 wins on Brian Bryn.
Between West 42nd Street and 72nd Street from the Hudson River to as far as Fifth Avenue. The NYPD, meanwhile, has confirmed that there was no foul play and this was a mechanical issue. Exactly what the mechanical issue was, Con Ed is still working on that. The NYPD and the FDNY are currently responding to people with the most urgent needs, especially those people who are stuck in elevators. Meanwhile, Governor Cuomo tweeting it as well this evening. He says he's directed state police, the MTA, and the PSD to deploy personnel to the city to respond to the outage tonight. It's news time 9:44. More coverage on the Manhattan blackout in just a little bit.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements.
All right, we just my apologies, folks. We are receiving notifications off the hook. This is the official response from Governor Andrew Mark Cuomo. And he is deploying, in other words, he is direct the state police, the MTA, and the Public Service Commission to deploy personnel into Manhattan. And he is directing the Department of Public Service to investigate and identify the exact cause of the outage to help prevent an incident of this magnitude happening again. Meanwhile, you can hear in the background my phone going off the hook with notifications from Puerto Rico as well. That right now in the Palace of Santa Catalina, there's protest, and apparently Warren Wilhelm Jr. Posted a tweet regarding this. Okay, this is the tweet. Okay, we just got word that Governor Andrew Mark Cuomo is on New York 1 right now.
Thousand people. When you talk about 45,000 customers, am I correct? Because that could be an apartment building, a theater, etc.
You're exactly right. It's locations. And even if you take the area that we believe is affected now, the 42nd to 58th Broadway to the Hudson River, emergency phones. So it's a significant problem. And as I said, we're sending 100 state police in. I'm calling up the National Guard. We're trying to get an estimate from Con Ed as to how long until the power goes back. The initial estimates, I believe, were based on the one substation failure. I don't know yet when that substation failed, how long until the second, the third, and the fourth failed. Again, the post-event analysis has to get to the bottom of why did one substation issue trigger the following sequential substations. But we'll do that after the fact. I'm just concerned about tonight and public safety tonight and people's convenience.
All right, Governor Cuomo, thank you for calling in to New York One with that update on the blackout we have going on in Manhattan.
Thank you, Dean. And you'll see state police, you'll see National Guard if we need it. The preliminary estimate was midnight. If it goes beyond that, then we'll let you know right away. And people should know that we're doing everything we can to make sure people stay safe and the power's on as soon as possible.
All right, thank you very much, Governor. And talking about that, this is a very large area.
All right, we just heard Governor Andrew Mark Cuomo on the phone on New York One. All right, we are watching New York One, and Jennifer Lopez concert at MSG has been interrupted by the power outage in Manhattan while we're receiving notifications from Puerto Rico that the situation at the Santa Catalina Palace is getting worse, while protesters are asking the governor Ricardo Rosselló to step down after the 889-page document that was posted this morning. So we're gonna be oops. Okay, this is live stream from Breaking News Live. A rare scene as power outage hits Manhattan. And of course, the NYPD is indicating due to power outage and disabled traffic control devices, vehicles should avoid between 42nd Street and 74th Street between 5th Avenue and the West Side Highway. Only MTA buses will allow to go through. And we have breaking news, and it's that Warren Wilhelm Jr. is en route back to New York. as we speak. We are trying our best to not cover what's going on in Puerto Rico because we want to focus on this. And right now, New York One is showing live view outside of Penn Station. And they're reporting that service could be restored as soon as midnight. So the amount of customers went up to 51,248 customers. Let's okay, this is the quadrant right now. And as we reported a few minutes ago, New York City Mayor Warren Wilhelm Jr. is returning to New York after campaigning in Iowa. So he should be back in New York City later on tonight. Well, our fellow contributor Andy's randomness is on Periscope. Let's tune in to his live stream.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here at John Burns Park, Unlimited. We're supposed to play until 11 o'clock tonight. Apparently, they wrapped up an hour early, but I'm trying to be as quick as I can. So, right now, there is a major power outage affecting Midtown Manhattan from 40th Street to 72nd Street. According to the site PowerOutage.us, 45 people are without power in Manhattan right now. Multiple subway lines are impacted in the borough of Manhattan. Just make my points. If you need service into and out of New York City, Long Island Railroad and Metro North are not impacted. Jersey Transit also not impacted. If you need to leave Manhattan, the alternative is doing it by foot. Do not take any of the buses right now. Okay, so Mayor de Blasio is leaving Iowa. Quickly, I want to mention Governor Cuomo has issued a statement. He believes that Con Edison should store power by midnight. Now, I was just going to say this. If you need to Manhattan right now, the best alternative is to walk. Do not take any interborough buses right now. To take any interborough buses, that won't be a good thing. So, my colleague Matt Camper is live right now on YouTube. Anthony Pinero's live. Agenda Free TV should be live. I'm going to try to get back to Queens as soon as I can to cover this because this is just a chaotic event. But once again, please, if you do not need to be at right now, don't go into Manhattan. The best way to leave New York via car right now is to do it once. So you can get to the crosswalks, get towards Washington Bridge right now, up the Allen Tunnel, and avoid the Lincoln Tunnel. If you need to get into Brooklyn right now, do it like I would do right now. Take the Tri Bridge, cut south into Queens, and take the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway south to Staten Island if you want to avoid going in Manhattan and taking the BQB that way. So again, please just avoid Manhattan in general. If you don't have to be in Manhattan, don't go into Manhattan.
All right, we just received notification from New York City Transit. And is the following. 8 trains. Okay, we have still 2 and 3 trains running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street. 4 and 5 trains running local between Brooklyn Bridge and 125th. 7 trains are terminating at Times Square. A trains is suspended between 42nd Street, Port Authority Bus Terminal, and 168th Street. D trains are running between 42nd Street, Bryant Park, and 161st Street, Yankee Stadium. F trains are running local in Queens, and some are running on the G between 36th Street, Queens, and Bergen Street. And we have N, Q, R, and rerouted F, all bypassing 57th Street, 7th Avenue. So right now we are seeing a little bit of progress as we speak. And 1, 2, and 3 trains are bypassing. Also, they are bypassing 66th Street, Lincoln Center. So let's repeat that information. Right now, the A is not running between 42nd Street, Port Authority Bus Terminal, and 168th Street. The D is running between 42nd Street, Bryant Park, and 161st Street, Yankee Stadium. And also, F trains are running local in Queens, and some are running on the G between 36th Street, Queens, and Bergen Street, and some are running via the R. And as a reminder, N, Q, R, and rerouted F trains are bypassing 57th Street, 7th Avenue. So, we are seeing a little bit of progress, and it's right now 10:01. And we have New York One own Michael Scotto saying de Blasio on CNN will not comment to returning New York from a presidential campaign trip. Says he will get more info in the next hour. That's sad. That if it's true. So let's check. All right, the amount went up to 61,591 customers without power right now, according to Con Ed. So now we're seeing power outages in the upper 80s also. And also on the upper east side, including in Hunters Point in Queens. We have outages reported also in Lower Manhattan, in the East Village, Williamsburg. We have outages reported also in Elmhurst. All right, we just received a notification. Let's get into it. We just received images from 34th Street Penn Station. That's the LIRR concourse. Could service be impacted in the LIRR Metro North? All right, we just received a post from New York City Transit Chief Customer Officer Sarah Meyer. She posted, "Hang in there, New York. Buses are still running on the west side as well, despite street closures. We'll be here 24/7 to ensure you to get home or work. Stay safe." And our fellow contributor, Cuomo Corruption, he is continuing to share material with us. And let's check the LIRR's Twitter page. All right, the latest information that the LIRR has been posted is the 9:36 train from Jamaica to Montauk at 12:20 in the morning is being currently held in Jamaica due to a late arriving connection. And as of 42 minutes ago, the temporarily westbound platform has been removed at Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, and Woodside following track work. And of course, the LIRR is continuing to cross honor subway tickets between Penn Station, Woodside, Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, Jamaica. All right. WCBS News Radio 880 Joe Aver reported lights came back on 54th and 8th as we speak.
We are dealing with on the west side of Manhattan. It happened probably right around, I would say, 7 o'clock, where, according to Governor Andrew Cuomo, there was a substation fire at 64th Street and Western Avenue. That substation fire caused an issue with 3 other substations to either go offline or have some sort of problem. And that knocked out power to a big part of the west side of Manhattan. Now, it's only on the west side, but from about 72nd Street south down to 34th Street, and from the Henry Hudson, maybe as far over to 7th Avenue, experiencing some problems. Some areas, no lights, but we do understand that to look at this situation, Madison Square Garden.
All right, we have Council Speaker Corey Johnson is saying that 5 minutes ago that sections of Hell's Kitchen on the West 40s and 50s are coming back online. Constituents reporting power has come back online. So we are going to continue to monitor this issue pretty closely because this is very important. We're not, again, we're not going to pay attention what's going on 2,000 miles southeast from of New York for the moment because this is very, very important.
Please all when there's an emergency situation.
And we're learning more about how this is affecting transportation around the city. You know, the NTA tweeting a little while ago that the ACD as we know tonight, is affected. They actually just tweeted moments ago, about 7 or 8 minutes ago, that your best bet if you have to take the subway, take one of the numbered lines because they're running on the local tracks, the 1, 2, 3. They're running on the local tracks, not express tracks tonight, and they are skipping the station. And he's suggesting that on the Upper West Side at all. Plus, this evening, they're shutting down much of the Upper West
We have news. NBC4's own Andrew Sif is waiting emergency briefing from the New York City Emergency Management, the FDNY, and the NYPD. So right now, we have 61,591 customers without power. We're gonna make a small phone call over here. We're gonna call Embassy Telemundo 47 on Luis Nunez to see if he's aware about this.
¿Conoces a Gerardo Núñez?
Putting information out there. They were telling riders what was going on with the trains. They mentioned this handful of lines that were directly impacted, letting them know actually this was a system-wide issue. If you're getting in and out of the subway, or excuse me, in and out of Manhattan, take the number line. So they were good at getting information out that way. But as I was looking at social media, people were complaining that information was not getting to them in the station, in the train, and there was a disconnect between what you could see on social media if you had your phone and what information you were getting if you were stuck on that train, in the tunnel, or in that station.
One of the riders telling us that she didn't have Wi-Fi, so she couldn't get the information. I guess a cell service underground wasn't working. And that's something I guess the Transit Authority, MTA, they're trying to work on with getting Wi-Fi in all of the stations, correct?
Well, that's unclear what exactly the outage affected in terms of their communication systems. I was watching on New York One. We had some rider video at the station. I saw their countdown clock was working. So again, the flow of information, they're gonna look at that and see what happened, because it's critically important not just to have that accurate information on social media, but get it to the people who need it on the train and in the station. And we're hearing reports that information was just not flowing perhaps as well as the brass would like it to in these kinds of situations.
Yeah, and actually one of the situations is that if the power is out, the Wi-Fi could be out. So it's one of those situations where you have to look at it. A lot of people have their phones where they don't have the hard lines or the landlines anymore. Lydia Hugh is here with us as well. So something to definitely think about. Dan, thanks a lot for that. We are waiting for this news conference from the west side of Manhattan, from Con Edison, as well as first responders, to give us an update as to what happened earlier this evening, how long we will be dealing with this power outage. According to the governor, he was hoping that all of the power would be back on by midnight. According to City Council Speaker Kojo Corey Johnson, he says some of the power is starting to come back on. We did have New York One employee calling saying that their power did pop out.
All right, now the number has gone down to 30,000 from almost 62,000. The number has gone down to 30,000. But still, so we're gonna continue here on Twitter. And checking, we're gonna be between Twitter and the Connet power outage tool. As we speak, Connet is reporting 1,486 outages, affecting 30,496 customers right now at 10:18 p.m. And as a reminder, if you need to take the subway, the 2 and the 3 are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street, bypassing 66th Street Lincoln Center and 59th Street Columbus Circle. The 4 and 5 trains are running local between Brooklyn Bridge City Hall and 125th Street. Oops, and we have some delays on the LIRR. We have the 9:36 p.m. train from Jamaica due to Montauk at 12:20 a.m. Departed Jamaica 36 minutes late due to a late arriving connection. And also we have the 9:40 train, the 9:40 p.m. train from Ronkonkoma due to Penn Station at 10:59 is operating 11 minutes late due to Deer Park due to rail tie replacement work. So this is the latest update. As we said, the two and three trains are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street, bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's what we have, and we're gonna continue to we're gonna do this all over again. As you know, the one runs local along 7th Avenue and Broadway, so it's not affected, but it's bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle and 66th Street Lincoln Center in both directions. Meanwhile, the 2 and the 3 are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street, also bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle and 66th Street Lincoln Center. Meanwhile, the 4 and 5 trains are running local between 125th Street and Brooklyn Bridge City Hall. And the MTA just reported that the D train is running in two sections. The first between 12th Street and Yankee Stadium, and between 42nd Street, Bryant Park, and Coney Island. As travel alternative between 161st Street, Yankee Stadium, and Manhattan, take the 4 train. And 7 trains are running between Times Square 42nd Street and Flushing Main Street. Let's see the latest amount from Con Ed. All right, Con Edison, as we speak, is reporting 30,496 customers without power in Manhattan. And to Passengers United, indeed, New York City Transit posted a tweet indicating that the LIRR was cross honoring between Penn Station, Jamaica, Flushing Main Street, all those stations. Let's listen to Council Speaker Corey Johnson.
Who told me that there were 6 sectors that went down from that West 49th Street substation having the service tonight. 2 of the sections and sectors have been brought back online, and the other 4 remaining sectors, which cover the affected area from the 40s to the 70s, should be back up online in the next 2 hours, which is very, very good news. The MTA is starting its reduction plan, I'm told, which means that they're going to have to go through a checklist. They're going to have to run up empty cars on the tracks first to check the signals. The station managers will check the escalators, the elevators, and they'll go through their process to make sure everything is okay before they load customers and riders back into the train. So there needs to be an additional level of patience for the MTA. When the full power comes back on, it doesn't mean the train will exactly run again immediately. But this is good news. I'm told by Con Ed, in the next 2 hours, we should have a full restoration of power for the affected areas.
All right, that is definitely good news. You're talking about maybe 3.5 hours into this right now, and we know they are going to have a news conference shortly. Just initially.
And this could be a pure coincidence that in the city of Ponce, in Puerto Rico, there's no electricity. And this is a tweet from Madison Square Garden that they posted 2 minutes ago, let's say 3 minutes ago, due to power outage issues in parts of Manhattan, which included MSG. Tonight's J-Lo Jennifer Lopez show was forced to end early. We will follow up with ticket buyers to tonight's show with more information as soon as we have it. Meanwhile, we have our fellow contributor Andy Quinto. At least he is one of those people that inform us about what is going on, especially in Queens. And we just received word that New Jersey Transit is. Let's listen to the press conference.
I'd like to introduce with me here today as well Public Advocate Giovanni Williams, Comptroller Scott Stringer, Borough President Gail Brewer, as well as Assembly Member Linda Rosenthal. A quick update, at 6:47 p.m. there was an electrical disturbance in the system affecting approximately 62,000 customers in the Manhattan area. This was caused by a power outage on the west side of Manhattan. The fire department, police department, and emergency management responded quickly to the scene, and we are working closely with Con Ed to restore power as quickly as possible. We have no reports of injuries or fatalities at this time. We also have a list of those individuals that are on life-saving equipment, and we are working with them to make sure they have what they need. And we have put together a joint task force with PD and the fire department to make sure that nobody is stuck in an elevator still. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to the CEO of Con Ed, John McAvoy, to give an update from Con Ed.
Hi, good evening. Thanks very much. My name's John McAvoy. I'm here to represent Con Edison. We experienced a significant disturbance on the west side of Manhattan at one of our electric transmission stations at roughly 6:47 p.m. that eventually interrupted power to approximately 73,000 customers. We divide the electric system into what we call networks. It's roughly equivalent to neighborhoods. It interrupted power to 6 networks. We expedited the recovery, performed an initial assessment of what was the most likely cause, isolated that equipment, inspected the other equipment to identify any obvious abnormalities, and now we have started the restoration process. Of the 6 networks that we lost, we have restored 2 of those networks, starting from just before 10 p.m. And we are working to restore the remaining 4 networks by midnight tonight. Now, there are some unknowns in this. As we restore equipment, we may find damage that we're not currently aware of, but we are proceeding on a path to restore all customers, hopefully by midnight tonight. We'll then look at the root causes of the event and restore the system to a fully normal condition once we understand exactly what occurred and what caused the outages that we're all experiencing today.
In fact, Lord, you knew exactly why this happened. It's not an especially hot day, and thankfully it's a Saturday, in which businesses and people aren't in their offices.
Right. It does not appear related to excessive wind as sometimes has occurred in the past. When we have an incident like this, we focus first on isolation of the failed equipment or the most likely failed equipment, and then restoration of the customers. And then when customers are restored, we really do the full root cause investigation to identify what may have caused it. That will follow later today.
The lights just went on behind you. How do you feel about that?
I feel just as well as everyone in the crowd. I like people are explosions. So I can't speak to the explosions that they may have heard. When you have incidents like this, large circuit breakers, which are the high voltage equivalent of circuit breakers in a panel in your house, operate. And they are very loud when they operate. That could have been what they heard, but I can't know for sure because the one restoration attempt made has gone.
Were the fires in manholes?
So I did hear a report of a fire in a manhole. We'll investigate. Very unlikely that a fire in a manhole was the cause of an incident of this scale.
This has happened occasionally in our city. Sometimes in the winter it's ice, and other times overloading. What do you think could be the cause of 2 incidences at the same time?
Yeah, really not able to estimate what could have caused this. We have to go through the full engineering analysis to look at the data, the facts, and the equipment condition to identify the cause.
Do we know now how many more networks are back once the system?
Well, we had 2 out of 6 back. We've got definitely a 3rd out of 6. I'm looking to the team to see if anybody has any updates. How many did we saw out here? We have 5 of the 6 networks restored. 1 network remains to be restored. The Pennsylvania network, which is roughly 40% 32nd Street to 32nd Street, Hudson River to roughly Broadway 7th Avenue. No, we do not expect any additional outages this evening.
A lot of people saw regular truckers coming in direct traffic. Didn't see a lot of police officers. I was actually from the precinct, didn't see any police officers coming to that. Can you explain the protocol is for something like that in an emergency?
Good evening, Chief Steve Hughes. I'm the commanding officer of Manhattan South. We did a level 3 mobilization, bringing units from around the city. The effective area was 4-2 to 7-2 from 5th Avenue to the west side. We implemented a vehicle traffic freeze. We were just letting city buses up at that point, stopping civilian traffic from going in there. We're in the process of bringing other units in, the post offices around on each of the blocks. So there is a significant uniform presence out there now.
Stepping in and the police are there taking charge.
Yeah, we appreciate their assistance. I heard reports, New York one had a gentleman, an elderly gentleman that came out assisting traffic, but our big purpose was to stop the traffic from coming into the area, and that's what we were focusing on first.
What do you say about the New York Spirit at the 77 intersections outbound? I was one back there. What do you say about New York becoming so much?
It's 42 years ago tonight that we had blackout, so tonight, totally different situation tonight. People came together and we handled it pretty well. Thank you.
Can we build the policy of the TV line? I'd like to just thank everybody for coming out here tonight. As you can see, we have one network that is still down. We are going to continue to work closely together with PD and fire and Con Edison. We'll get that up as soon as possible. The cooperation here has been excellent. That's why we've been able to get it restored as quickly as we have. And thank you again very much for coming out tonight.
Do you know anybody did elevators? We still have any issues with that?
Yeah, again, we have a task force that has been going to all of the affected buildings to make sure that nobody was in elevators.
Nobody actually found anything.
I have not gotten any reports at this moment, but we have a task force that's definitely going building to building for those buildings that are still out.
Injuries and this sort of thing. Reports of injuries.
There were no reports of injuries or fatalities, and I have been personally in touch with the mayor to give him an update on the situation. All right, thank you very much.
A live update there from Con Edison and the New York City.
All right, there you have it. An update from Con Edison. And within the past few minutes, the number jumped again to almost 50,000 from 30,000 that we had a few minutes ago. Now we are 49,917 as of 10:36. But the Connex website, they do updates between 15 and 30 minutes. So let's go back to Twitter. And we have Council Speaker Corey Johnson tells New York One he is hearing electricity back on. He says that Con Ed CEO told him that 2 of 6 sectors that lost power has been brought online. The other 4 should be back online within the next 2 hours. Let's listen to transit reporter Dan Vivoli.
The signal system on 6 lines, most of those letter lines. And again, even though it was 6 lines, you felt it everywhere. And it caused a system-wide disruption. And again, the MTA said stick to the number lines, but it was slow going.
All right, on the Saturday night, a lot of folks out enjoying a beautiful July night. A lot of theater shows were postponed, but also Madison Square Garden, a big concert J-Lo, New York Oilers being blue, is outside of Madison.
Well, it is 10:38 right now here in New York. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico are not paying attention what is going on here in New York. But us, Jason Anthony Pinheiro, Matt Camper, among others, are sticking to local. So let's go once again to the MTA website. And this is the latest. Now they added there is no A trains between 168th Street and Chambers Street. And there is no M trains between 96th Street and Delancey Essex. So that's the latest from that's the latest from the MTA. And of course, New Jersey Transit rail tickets and passes are cross-honored by the Psychopath at Newark Penn, Hoboken, and 33rd Street due to Con Ed power outage. All right, let's check Con Ed. All right, that number is still in 49,917. So let's go to New York City subway. And of course, we need to give kudos to Sarah Meyer and her team that has been working throughout this situation. Oh, come on. Okay, this is person waiting for the M5 bus. And we are trying our best to focus on what's going on in Manhattan. That right now, Con Edison is still reporting 49,917 customers without power, and current outages 1,002, and customers served 3,323,537.
The outage, if you even have a little bit of service malfunction, it feels like you're stuck. And you effectively are. Let's be real. You know, when the signals went out and, you know, the MTA saying, well, the third rail power stayed on, that was actually a saving grace because you could still move those trains very carefully through those tracks. So you can pass a signal, you can go up to it, you can tell rail control, hey, I'm here, I move forward, say yes, get you on. If it was a total meltdown, we would have been seeing a lot worse. But when you're still stuck 45 minutes, an hour, I mean, that feels like an eternity when you're down there. Although I want to say, you know, the MTA did say AC was still on in those trains. So at least if it was working at the time, then you were at least in some kind of mode.
So then you actually just explained it there, which is great information for our viewers. The third rail operates a little differently from the rest of the system. So, I mean, when the power goes out, the signals don't work automatically.
Right, exactly. And again, you can still have your crews.
But at least a good thing.
They're not just standing there wondering what's going on. You can actually say, all right, tell your operator, let's go forward. Let's get this.
But a good thing that subway service wasn't totally suspended. But of course, oops, we just noticed a jump. Now we have 77,107 customers without power, and current outages 92. And this literally updated as we speak at 10:46 p.m. Let's go to Twitter. See what else. If there's anything else we have. Look at this. Look at this tree from one of my old TV stations, NBC 15. Says if it's not a tropical storm in Louisiana, it's a power outage in New York. But nobody responds. Well, all right. Okay. All right. We have reports that power is out at Penn Station. They are running the place in generators. Could the LIRR be affected by this? Good question. But as we mentioned earlier, and we're going to repeat this again, 2 and 3 trains are running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street, bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle and 66th Street Lincoln Center. If you need service to one of these stations, you could use 50th Street or 72nd Street. Meanwhile, the Lexington Avenue line, 4 and 5 trains are running local between Brooklyn Bridge and 125th Street. The trains are running in 2 sections. The first in the Bronx between 12th Street and 161st Street Yankee Stadium, and the second between 42nd Street Bryant Park and Coney Island. As travel alternative between 161st Street Yankee Stadium and Manhattan, transfer at 161st Street Yankee Stadium to the 4 train for service to Manhattan. But if you want to reach the second section of the D at 42nd Street Bryant Park, you will have to do the following. Take the 4 at 161st Street Yankee Stadium and transfer to the 7 at Grand Central. And take the 7 to 5th Avenue Bryant Park, where D train service is available. Also, 7 trains are running between Times Square, 42nd Street, and Flushing Main Street. In addition, there is no A train between 168th Street and Chambers Street. And also, there's no M train between 96th Street and Delancey 6.
But power appears to be back onto the majority of it now.
All right, and I'm waiting for word on the MTA of when those 4 stations they had to close. Those 4 stations, big stations, lost power. We're going to find out when riders will be able to start using them.
And they actually spoke about that at the news conference, saying something to the effect of that they have to hit trains and actually see if they can run okay on the line. So don't expect it to go down to Columbus Circle and jump on the train right now.
Absolutely. 6 lines, letter lines that had the signals knocked out. They don't want to test that while people are riding on the train. You want to make sure it works smoothly. So you start, as they mentioned, running empty trains over it. You get the okay, and then you start bringing service back. And it's going to take some time to get back to normal. Whenever there's a big disruption, it takes time to sort itself out.
And even the escalators and the elevators.
Exactly. You don't want people on them, and all of a sudden, maybe it didn't work right, or something needs to be checked out.
And I think Con Edison has to look at that as well, Lydia, that these lights are going back on. But we know sometimes when you flip that switch, as they said, they have to make sure that there's not more damage to the system than what they know about now. So hopefully all of the lights that are on, they stay on at this point.
Right, and that's part of what they were discussing at the press conference, right, where they're going to be investigating exactly what caused this. That's going to be part of what they're looking at. It's too early to really speculate, about what caused it, as well as, is everything ready to be turned back on. So, we will be learning a lot more, I'm sure, as the hours continue to unfold and tomorrow about all the circumstances surrounding this power outage.
And definitely the CEO of Con Ed going there right away, saying he's speaking with all of the folks. Governor Cuomo spoke with us earlier, saying that he is getting a team together to actually investigate what went wrong. He said he's directed the state police, the MTA, and the Public Service Commission to deploy personnel and resources to aggressively respond to this incident and work to restore power as soon as possible. He said they were in communications with Con Edison, but at the end of the day, he wants the Public Service Commission to investigate what went wrong here. Con Edison have all of the safeguards in place that they should have, and he said that as far as he understood, when there is a situation with a substation, if it goes out, there should be a safeguard where it blocks the rest of the system from not being damaged, and perhaps that is what happened here. And they will continue. The interesting thing is that we do know a lot of people were in elevators, and emergency management said a task force of NYPD and FDNY, they were going around to the buildings. And I am trying to find out, and you heard them ask at the news conference, are there any injuries? So we never got a word on how many people were actually trapped. But we got tweets sent to us of people who were trapped in elevators.
Right, and in the subway too. The MTA did not give a number. We're going to be following up on that and asking how many reports they got, but they did say there were people trapped in the elevators in the subway, though when they gave me that information, they said those people had already been, they were able to get out at that time.
And the NYPD spoke at that news conference as well, and OEM, or the Office of Emergency Management, and they said they worked seamlessly together, which is something that you want to hear, but that's a line that they always say now. They have to show that they are working together, but when there is an emergency, it is so important. And that's why you saw emergency management, they first started the news conference, because also we see from the spokespeople from the NYPD and the FD, but OEM, we call it the Office of Emergency Management, but it's New York City Emergency Management. They oversee everything whenever there is an emergency, so they have to get everybody together to respond. Keep folks safe.
Okay,
but there are some questions.
Let's do a pause. I have to give an answer to Colton D'Souza, aka Passengers United. The information that you see here was updated 37 minutes ago. How you dare say that this is old? Old if it was like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. But we're talking about this update came in within the last 30 minutes. Meanwhile, we have 77,107 folks still without power, 2 minutes towards the top of the hour.
Other MTA workers waiting to make sure that people got out safely. So the fact that there are no injuries reported tonight is just some credit where credit's due. So many thanks to the New York City transit workers who made sure that getting in and out of the subways or out of the subways could be done safely, effectively, and without injury.
You got the feeling tonight they were dealing with a whole lot.
That's Channel 7.
Central on ABC, a hotel minute with as we went, we have recovered billions.
Players. Como les decíamos, muy buenas noches. Gracias por continuar con nosotros. Les saluda Luis González.
Ya tiene la noche libre, bueno, oscuras. Ya veníamos diciendo, Manhattan sufre el peor apagón en más de 15 años.
Los más emblemáticos lugares de Manhattan como Times Square, Rockefeller Center, quedaron sin servicio eléctrico.
Nosotros tenemos cobertura en equipo. Comenzamos de inmediato con Eliezer Martin, está en Colombo Circle, con lo más reciente. Eliezer, la situación a esta hora.
Bueno, según con Edison, aproximadamente las 6:47 comenzó a reportarse esta falla. Luego, a las 8 de la noche, el Departamento de Bomberos de la ciudad de Nueva York respondió.
Let's listen to Telemundo.
En la calle 64 y la avenida West End. Aquí en el Parque Central, estoy justamente en la entrada de la 59 en Colombo Circle. Hace apenas 20 minutos fue cuando regresó la electricidad, pero como verán a continuación, una oscuridad absoluta estaba aquí en este icónico parque de la Gran Manzana. La electricidad no iluminaba su belleza que lo caracteriza. La oscuridad se hace sentir en una ciudad donde las luces alumbran sus encantos. El caos y la incógnita reinan en la Gran Manzana. Así se ha vivido la tarde de este sábado, tras un apagón que dejó a más de 90,000 personas a oscuras, según informó la compañía de electricidad con Edison. El alcalde de la ciudad de Nueva York, Bill de Blasio, a través de su cuenta de Twitter, informó que el Departamento de Policía de Nueva York, el Departamento de Bomberos y otras agencias de la ciudad están respondiendo para restablecer la electricidad, agregando que la causa ha sido un fuego subterráneo. Que tiene el foco y todo en manos.
Sí, porque yo me puedo caer, me tropezarme, tú sabes, yo me puedo tropezar porque yo no veo esto miro.
Y Llena Santiago vivió el masivo apagón de 1977 y 2003. Hoy vuelve a presenciar algo similar. Ella tiene 50 años residiendo en la ciudad de Nueva York.
Estoy bien preocupada porque no se quiere callar, me preocupo, por eso van a mirar que yo creí que era nada más mi building, pero es Manhattan completo.
De acuerdo al Departamento de Bomberos, la pérdida de electricidad abarca desde la Quinta Avenida de la autopista del río Hudson y desde la calle 40 Oeste hasta la calle 72. El servicio de trenes también ha sido afectado. Héctor Kepis trabaja estacionando vehículos cerca de la concurrida Octava Avenida y la calle 50.
No pudimos terminar la jornada. Era hasta las 12 de la noche, ya está poniendo oscuro, tuvimos que cerrar el negocio.
Él ahora busca cómo llegar a su casa.
Entonces todavía no sé. Será llegar caminando. Ya lo busqué en el mapa, son 3 horas 20 minutos. 9 millas y media.
¿Ya dispuesto a caminar 3 horas y 20 minutos?
Empecé a llegar a mi casa.
De acuerdo al alcalde Bill de Blasio, este apagón no se trata de manos criminales, sino de un problema mecánico. Con Edison ya dijo que se estima que todos los clientes tengan su servicio de electricidad para la medianoche. Ahora vamos con nuestra compañera Rosalina Beltrón, que se encuentra en Times Square. Rosalina, ¿cuál es la situación que se vive allá en estos momentos?
Precisamente esa es la preocupación de muchos turistas y transeúntes que todavía a esta hora se conglomeran en las esquinas de la calle 42, donde nos encontramos en este momento, justamente en la 42 entre la octava y la novena avenida, donde ya todo ha devuelto, mejor dicho, todo ha vuelto a la normalidad, pero hace apenas una hora y media estaba todo apagado, creando mucha confusión. Decenas de shows de Broadway fueron cancelados en la noche de hoy. Hablamos de Aladdin, Lion King y varias programaciones que un sábado en la noche de verano, donde precisamente muchas personas vienen a la ciudad precisamente a disfrutar ese tipo de programación, pues debido a este apagón han sido canceladas. Hace apenas unos minutos conversamos con una familia de Sydney, Australia. Nos comentaron que en un elevador muy cerquita de acá se quedaron atascados por 2 horas y media. Todo estaba totalmente a oscuras y los bomberos tuvieron que venir a socorrerlo también.
All right, we just got word that power just came back on at the area of Rockefeller Center. And the number of people without power right now is 77,871 with 97 outages.
También es muy bueno recalcar que los policías, o mejor dicho, el departamento de policía ha desplegado más agentes para estar afuera de muchas tiendas que se vieron sin energía eléctrica, porque a pesar de que había algunos de ellas todavía con la luz encendida era debido a generadores. Pero bueno, la otra información que queremos también recalcar, Nilda y Luis Gerardo, es que las autoridades están advirtiendo a las personas que si no tienen que venir a la calle 42, que se queden en sus hogares y también que llamen a familiares que sepan que viven en las zonas afectadas para saber cómo se sienten y si necesitan ayuda. Pero eso con ustedes, Alex.
Gracias a Rosalina. Bueno, precisamente como nos has dicho, varias líneas de trenes se han visto afectadas por este masivo apagón.
Tenemos cobertura completa. Raíl Solís está lista para que me cuenten las condiciones a este momento. Raíl.
Te cuento que continúan igual, no hemos tenido ningún cambio, continúa el servicio limitado para los trenes 1, 2, 3, que está corriendo local entre la calle 96 y Chambers, esto es del lado oeste.
Chambers!
59 Colombo Circle. También en los trenes 4, 5 y 6 el servicio continúa limitado, pero en esta ocasión del lado este, calle 125, el puente de Brooklyn entre Manhattan y Queens. No solamente son estos trenes, también el MQ, R y S ahora tiene también parte del servicio que está suspendido, así que muchísima calma, poco a poco nos vamos a restablecer. El 7 de la C y E, el D, M, R y L también tiene parte del servicio suspendido. En cuanto al tren D, corre en 2 secciones, calle 205 Northwood hasta la calle 161 Yankee Stadium y desde la calle 42 a la Bryant Park a Coney Island, la avenida Stillwell. También estamos viendo que el transporte público, muy importante, el traslado entre los trenes y autobuses hacia el sur, calle 180, pero todas las paradas están entre la calle 180 este y la avenida Drive. Así que mucha paciencia, mi gente. Continúa con nosotros que tenemos más información de parte de ustedes.
Bueno, y el apagón de esta noche afectó a muchos de los principales de servicios públicos en el centro oeste de Manhattan, desde la calle 40 hasta la calle 72.
Ahora nos vamos con Yolanda Vázquez, que se encuentra en Midtown, con las reacciones a esta hora, Yolanda, y la situación.
Daniela, me encuentro específicamente en la calle 72 con Broadway. En este preciso momento empieza a fluir el tráfico por la Broadway. Estaba cerrado, ustedes ven ahí un carro de policía. Ellos estaban tratando de controlar el tráfico luego que las luces no estaban funcionando. Y esta intersección específicamente pues es bastante concurrida y complicada porque aquí se une la 72 con Amsterdam y Broadway. Y por supuesto ellos tenían que tomar control de eso porque los buses específicamente transcurren rápidamente por esta área. Ahora mismo ellos están dándole ya vía poco a poco al servicio público y ustedes pueden ver a mi camarógrafo de Rivera que está tratando de mostrarles a ustedes para que tengan una idea de lo que estaba pasando. Hasta hace por lo menos 20 minutos la situación era completamente caótica, esto estaba en tinieblas y a la estación del tren que se encuentra aquí pues no estaba funcionando de manera normal. ¿Qué pasó? Salimos acá, nos encontramos todas oscuras y en el momento en que nosotros estábamos tratando de agarrar pues todas esas impresiones, llega la luz y la gente hace un grito como
regresó el servicio de energía. Ahora mismo estamos viendo aquí, nosotros vamos a entrar un poco aquí a la estación de tren, todo empieza a funcionar de manera normal, la gente ya toma sus trenes porque muchos de ellos no estaban funcionando y entonces algunos estaban funcionando de manera muy lenta, como nos dijeron. Y tenemos que destacar una cosa, los turistas específicamente se estaban sintiendo muy preocupados, dijeron nosotros llegamos aquí a esta área y nos encontramos que no había servicio de luz, pero nadie nos explicaba qué estaba pasando. Se nos ocurrieron 50.000 cosas, pero en realidad preferimos guardar la calma y empezar a caminar para averiguar. La policía no estaba dando ninguna información. Ahora, ustedes van a escuchar de boca de esos mismos turistas y residentes qué fue lo que vivieron desde las 6:47 hasta el momento en el que regresó la energía.
Yo no sé, yo quería saber qué pasó.
Y ahora tú no te preocupes.
Ahora mismo estoy en el teléfono con mi mamá, vamos a ver qué es lo que vamos a hacer. Vengo a meter caminando de la 23 y todavía no es desde las 6 de la tarde y son las 10:20 de llegar a mi casa.
Sí, ustedes en ese momento la luna, señores, porque la señora no cooperó esta noche, mientras todo estaba en tinieblas, ella estaba iluminando toda esta área de la ciudad de Nueva York para que la gente que tuviera que caminar lo hiciera sin ningún problema. Aquí ya todo empieza, como ustedes ven, a funcionar de manera normal, sin embargo, pues las autoridades continúan haciendo su trabajo para que los carros fluyan sin ningún problema, aunque las luces están funcionando, todavía hay un poco de confusión y sobre todo la gente está transitando por las calles y eso es muy peligroso, así que es una información que ustedes tienen que conocer. El servicio regresa poco a poco aquí a esta área, pero hay que tener muchísima precaución. Esto es todo lo que tenemos por ahora desde el área de la 72 con Amsterdam y luego, por supuesto, que hay que tener mucha más información más adelante que la vamos a tener aquí en Noticiero 47 Telemundo. Buenas noches. Bueno, gracias a Yolanda. Bueno, y este apagón, este masivo apagón en el Midtown de Manhattan afectó a gran parte de nuestra población hispana.
Vamos a hacer contacto telefónico con el concejal Idanis Rodríguez para conocer de primera mano cómo lideraron las autoridades esta situación. Idanis, ¿te tenemos en línea?
Sí, gracias a ustedes por su gran trabajo.
Gracias, Irani. Bueno, tus palabras, ¿no? Sabemos que por un lado el gobernador dijo que quería una investigación hasta el fondo, ya el alcalde Villa Blasio viene también en camino. Tus palabras frente a lo que sucedió el día de hoy.
Bueno, que tenemos primeramente que estar atentos, ojalá que con eso pueda aprender los pasados apagones que han ocurrido. Sabemos que hay una cuestión del transitorio, quedaron más de 6 circuitos, todavía 4 que no están activados de nuevo.
We are listening to Councilman Idanis Rodriguez in interview with Telemundo 47.
Nosotros hemos estado llamando de que cambie la política que está pasando en este momento para que sean parte de la solución cuando hay 40.000 cosas que han sido afectadas la persona desesperada como están trabajando. Todos tenemos que ser parte de la solución y que como parte de esta transportación, claro que estaremos pidiendo la sobre una explicación sobre qué se ha aprendido del pasado de apagones, cómo podemos poner la falla que ocurrió también para dar la
And we just
concejal Idanis Rodríguez, ¿qué sabe usted? ¿Lo sabe de primera mano o lo sabe, o sea, por Conelson? ¿O qué sabe? ¿Sabe lo mismo que sabemos nosotros? ¿Qué es lo que ocurrió?
Bueno, el consejo principal ha activado la información interna que nos estamos comunicando a través de los varias comunicación directamente con el consejo municipal. Ellos han
okay, we just got word from Notify NYC, and they're informing the following. There is no A trains between 168th Street and Canal Street. C trains is suspended. M trains is suspended between 96th Street and Delancey Essex. And Q trains are suspended between Times Square, 42nd Street,
Cuando de última hora se trata en tu idioma, en
96th Street.
Ya regresamos.
Hombre y máquina. Michael Knight, defensor de los inocentes, haré lo posible por ayudarlos. Inteligencia y velocidad pura. Necesito ayuda rápido. Salvaremos a Michael. Y la combinación de familia. Sujétense. Aprovecha el cinturón y visita el mundo de... Fantástico. El lunes o viernes a la 1:12 centro. Con México.
Este verano, encuentra lo que te gusta en el estado de Nueva York.
So let's recap. So let's recap what we got. And for that, let's go to New York City Transit Twitter page to see what they posted. Let's see if they posted anything recent in their Twitter page. Nope.
Tiene que ser bueno.
Okay, so the latest update was received from Notify NYC. And we are going to repeat that update. And is that A trains is suspended between 168th Street and Canal Street. C trains are not running between 168th Street and Euclid Avenue in both directions. M trains are suspended between 96th Street and Delancey Essex Street. And there is no Q trains between Times Square 42nd Street and 96th Street. And we still have 1, 2, 2 and 3 trains running local between 96th Street and Chambers Street, bypassing 66th Street Lincoln Center and 59th Street Columbus Circle. 4 and 5 trains running local between 125th Street and Brooklyn Bridge City Hall. D trains running between 205th Street and Yankee Stadium, and between 42nd Street, Bryant Park, and Coney Island. And 7 trains will terminate at Times Square, 42nd Street.
Hoy fueron publicadas las 289 páginas de los mensajes en las que Rosselló y su círculo íntimo de ejecutivos se burlan de altas figuras políticas y también de artistas como la expresidenta del Consejo Municipal de Nueva York, Melissa Martin.
De hecho, personalidades como el astro boricua Ricky Martin y Bad Bunny calificaron los comentarios como vergonzosos e inaceptables y exigieron la inmediata renuncia
noticia del día, que es ese apagón de esta noche, que como saben ya afectó a los principales servicios públicos en lo que es el área del Midtown Manhattan, desde la calle 40 hasta la calle 72.
Vamos a restablecer contacto de nuevo con nuestra Yolanda Vázquez para que nos cuente la situación a esta hora. Yolanda, ¿ha cambiado algo?
Sí, ha cambiado, ya el tráfico empieza a fluir de manera prácticamente normal aquí en esta área de la 72 con Amsterdam y también la Roma, y ustedes pueden ver. Lo que sí es que ustedes pueden observar que la cantidad de carros que normalmente van por este lado, pues es mucho menor de lo que usualmente es, y esto es a raíz del apagón que se registró. La gente pues decidió no usar sus vehículos y están más caminando, más usando el tren en este momento porque ya todo empieza a fluir. Varias cosas para contarles de última hora, y es que acabamos de hablar con el Departamento de Policía de la Ciudad de Nueva York y nos dicen 5 de las estaciones que estaban fallando de Edison ya están funcionando, solamente una queda que está en este momento siendo atendida para que regrese el fluido eléctrico, pero entonces 5 ya están nuevamente en servicio y ya los demás trabajadores están ahora corriendo hacia la otra estación, hacia la sexta, para que todo vuelva a la normalidad en la ciudad de Nueva York. De los 43,000 usuarios que no tenían el servicio de energía aquí en el área metropolitana, pues ya por lo menos 40,000, lo dice la policía, tienen nuevamente ese servicio. Algo muy importante para que tengan en cuenta, y es que la gente que tenía problemas de salud y que necesita con urgencia el servicio de energía, ellos también fueron atendidos porque el servicio, el departamento específico que maneja esa lista de personas enfermas y que necesitan la energía con Edison, ya acudieron hacia ellos y les suministraron ese servicio para que ellos puedan tener el oxígeno que necesitan, lo que ellos requieren para que su salud no se vea afectada. Así que poco a poco se retoma una normalidad en la ciudad de Nueva York luego de este apagón que pues ha generado un caos indiscutiblemente tanto en el tráfico, trenes, buses, las luces completamente apagadas, pero ya nuevamente aquí en la ciudad de Nueva York les podemos reportar, vuelve a ser la ciudad que nunca duerme y con las luces a flor de piel, señores.
Gracias a Yolanda Vázquez por esta cobertura. Nosotros ahora vamos a pasar a otra cosa importante.
Al tiempo, porque una noche caliente, una noche caliente en nuestra área, mucha gente tuvo que salir, porque obviamente no se podía estar sin aire.
Así es, aproximadamente 80 grados, 81 grados es que está la temperatura esta noche. Pero primero vamos a ver a Barry, que todavía continúa dejando sus estragos por ahí con Luis.
All right, so right now it's 11:21, and right now we have 67,054 customers without power still here in New York. 96 outages. Okay, let's see if there's any updates to provide you guys. Sorry about that. I didn't want to show that. Still Passengers United is still complaining regarding if the LIRR is cross honoring or not. Well, let's see if New York City Transit has updated. Okay, we have some updates. All right, we still all right, we have that now the only station affected is 59th Street Columbus Circle. 7 trains is running, but ending at Times Square. For 34th Street Hudson Yards, take the 1, 2, or 3 to Penn Station, then take the M34 Select bus service. We have A trains running in 2 sections. The first between Far Rockaway and Chambers Street, and between 168th Street and 207th Street. A trains are now running between Chambers Street and 168th Street. We have that the E is running between Jamaica Center and Whitehall Street. So therefore, it's running via the R between 36th Street, Queens, and Whitehall. And also, we have F trains are running on the R between 36th Street, Queens, and J Street Metro Tech. Some trains are running on the G between 36th Street, Queens, and Bergen Street. N, Q, and R trains are up and running but making local stops along Broadway, and also as the F. And the D is running between Coney Island and Bryant Park and 161st Street, Yankee Stadium. So that's the latest that we have from New York City Transit. And let's repeat the latest information. The service on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is up and running, but 1 trains are bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle. 7 trains are running only between Flushing Main Street and Times Square. 8 trains are running between Far Walkway and Chambers, and between 168th and 127th. Please note, the A as in apple is not running.
Esta información recibida por la noticia de este masivo apagón que sucedió en nuestra ciudad. Según fuentes, el gobernador anunció está camino a las oficinas de Conerizo.
Más de 70.000 clientes estuvieron sin servicio eléctrico. Se inició, como decíamos, Luis, a las 6 de la tarde, pero a las 10:30 el servicio empezó poco a poco a regresar.
El servicio de Telex ha empezado ya también a regresar a la normalidad. Creo lo más importante es resaltar de esta rueda de prensa más temprano. No se reportaron heridos, tampoco lo decía nuestro compañero desarmante, no se reportó vandalismo o un acto intencional frente a lo que aquí
cielo mayormente despejado, la mínima 68 grados y ese tiempo seco se mantiene con nosotros hasta el martes, donde ya el miércoles podríamos estar viendo los remanentes de fuego afectar nuestra área. El fin de semana podríamos tener posiblemente una ola de calor porque las temperaturas se mantienen sobre los 90 grados. Así que nos olvidamos de este caos del día de hoy. Mañana, mucha persona.
Ay, tiene chance en la Rosario mañana.
Mañana tengo chance, pero mañana Festival Colombiano.
Festival Colombiano, ya nos vemos. Así que a disfrutarlo eso.
Pero yo también
Eso. I love my dynamic duo on Telemundo. I really do. So, it is 11:30. Let's do a recap, shall we? Let's go to New York City Transit Twitter page once again. The first thing that we have is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 trains are back and up and running between Manhattan, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. But still, we have one train bypassing 59th Street Columbus Circle. Meanwhile, we have 7 trains are not running between Times Square, 42nd Street, and 34th Street, Hudson Yards. For service to 34th Street, Hudson Yards, transfer at Times Square, 42nd Street to the 1, 2, and 3 trains to 34th Street Penn Station, and transfer to the M34 Select Bus Service. Regarding the 8th Avenue line, A trains are running in 2 sections. The first between Far Rockaway and Chambers Street, and between 168th Street and 207. Please note, A trains are not running between Chambers Street and 168th Street. C trains are suspended, in other words, the end for the night. E trains are running between Jamaica Center and Whitehall Street, but they're running between, in other words, E trains are running on the R between Queens Plaza and Whitehall Street. F trains are running via the R between 36th Street Queens and J Street Metro Tech. And some F trains are running on the E between 36th Street Queens and Queens Plaza and via the G to Bergen Street. And also NQ and R trains are up and running but making local stops along Broadway. And that's including the F. And also, D train service is very limited, running only between Coney Island Stillwell Avenue and 42nd Street Bryant Park, and between 161st Street Yankee Stadium and 12th Street. If you need service between Manhattan and the Bronx, take the 4 train via transfer at 161st Street Yankee Stadium. So, that being said, let's give the close to this and as we speak, it's 11:35, and right now there's only 23,361 customers without power. So power is up and running. So we want to thank everybody for joining us in this special marathonic live stream. And stay tuned that tomorrow night, in other words, tomorrow night, we are going to talk about finally about the 889 pages of the Telegram chat regarding the government of Puerto Rico. So thank you for joining us and enjoy your Saturday night.